Well, hello hyperspace. My name is Davontos and it's time to get hyped because this is some Modern Warfare Remastered gameplay. However, we're not going to be talking about Modern Warfare Remastered today. We're actually going to be talking about Call of Duty World War II. Oh yeah, that's right. Call of Duty back up breaking the promises again, son. Okay, so there's been a huge, I guess you can say it's a leak. I don't know if it's live, but for whatever reason, it's going to happen. Michael Conjuring, whatever his name is, I'll just call him Mike. So Mike said that there is not going to be anything in these supply drops besides cosmetic items. You know, the same thing that Call of Duty always says, and they always break their promises later on in the year. Well, it so happens that the first drop to these supply drops was added. I don't know if it's current or if it's still, in process, but as I said, there was a leak, and it showed quite a few skins for the current weapons. Now, there were no new weapons in the supply drop, so yeah, they're keeping their promise so far. They were a ton of skins for the Type 100 and the Gewehr and all that stuff, basically reskinned the model so you can have your Type 100 kind of look like, I don't know, like a UMP-45 for example, just such an example. But, just reskinned guns, and thinking back, they said, before World War II launched, that everything is going to be strictly cosmetic, and they're keeping their promise, so that's good. Or is it? Because we can go back to Modern Warfare Remastered, the same thing you're watching now, and they said the exact same thing. So if you guys are actually keeping up with Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered before it launched last year on November 4, when they released Modern Warfare Remastered, the teaser, everybody was saying, "Oh, Call of Duty, you better not be adding no weapons in them supply drops." And then Raven Software went up and said, "Oh, don't worry, it's gonna be strictly cosmetic items." And then the first drop launched. And the first drop gave us new melee weapons. And they gave us, no. The first drop actually gave us, skins for the gun, so you can have, like your Uzi have armor and all that stuff. And a lot of people were questioning Raven Software about it. They were saying, "I thought you said you weren't going to add anything." And Raven Software actually went up on record and they said, "Don't worry, they're just skins for your guns. The guns would still function exactly the same with or without the gun." They even went on record and said even the ions, the default ions on your weapon, are exactly the same on the gun to the default one. That way, equipping the gun won't give you an accuracy advantage. And they're kind of right, because some guns, the skins, default ions do change a little bit, but for whatever reason, the guns still function exactly the same. They just look different. So, they kept their promise, that part. A few months down the line, for Modern Warfare Remastered, this is going on to like maybe December of last year, maybe January, they started adding some melee weapons, right? They started adding like the hammer, and they added the axe and all that stuff. And then people are questioning, right? People are saying, "Raven Software, I thought you said you're not going to add no weapons." And then Raven Software goes up and they say, "Oh no, don't worry. These are just skins for your knife. It gives the knife different animations, but it still functions just as good as the knife. The swiping is the same, the range is the same, it's the exact same thing as the knife. It just looks different." And, a lot of people started testing it because they were really fishy, and they didn't really trust Raven Software because how Call of Duty tends to break their promises, but Raven Software was telling the truth. It was, a hammer, it looks different than a knife, but it still functions the same, the swiping speed is the same, and it was basically just a reskinned knife. Everybody accepted it. And then, oh mama, and then they added the first DLC weapon. Everybody lost it. Everybody went all apeshit. They were like, "This is a Call of Duty that fans hold very passionate, and here you are adding guns that weren't in the original game." And Raven Software did not say anything. And the reason they didn't say anything is because, it's a free cash grab for the people who are into supply drops, which I'm pretty sure it's very few. But for the people who are into supply drops, they were like, "Oh shit! Look, new guns! Time to spend money on them COD points!" And, businesses being money hungry and all that stuff works in their favor. And because of this, they started adding more and more weapons to Modern Warfare Remastered, and as you can see, it's not Modern Warfare Remastered anymore, it's just I guess you can say a spin-off to the Modern Warfare series, which is still fine. It's still a fun game and all, though the DLC weapons are a little overpowered, some of them. I wouldn't say all of them, some of them are, but it's still playable, it's not broken. So, let's actually hit back on Call of Duty World War II. We can kind of start seeing a pattern here. They added the first drop. Just like Modern Warfare Remastered, the first drop only includes skins for the weapons. In this first drop, there are skins for your shovel. That's right, in World War II you don't have a knife. If you don't have it, you actually have a shovel, which basically behaves just like the knife. So there are skins for the shovel, basically giving you a combat knife. I remember another one is a pickaxe and all that fun stuff. And they're saying, don't worry, it functions just like the knife. So you're kind of seeing the pattern here, right guys? Yeah, I see it. I know some of you guys see it. Call of Duty's gonna be adding some weapons. I could bet you guys every dollar I got that they're gonna wind up adding some weapons in the supply drops in World War II. It's not just gonna be these weapon variants or these weapon skins. They are going to add weapons in World War II because from a business standpoint, that's just the right thing to do to make profit. And a lot of people hate it. They don't want to say they're going to do it because they know a lot of people aren't going to like that news and it's going to turn people away. So what's the best way to do it and still make money out of it? Keep it as a surprise. That way when it does launch, it's already too late for people to act on it. You know, they're not going to say, oh, we're going to be dropping the first wave of DLC weapons come January. They're not going to say that because if they do, then they know they're going to lose some people who were to buy the game for Christmas, right? They're going to keep quiet. That way they can, you know, still make the sales, and when the time comes, they just plop it on you. That's it, and you can't react to it, and it's in the game, and they're not going to take it out, and there's nothing you can do. That's what's going to happen. That's what's always been happening to Call of Duty. And, you can kind of say Call of Duty went from a military fun first-person shooter franchise to basically Activision trying to milk out every dollar using the Call of Duty franchise. You know, they're not doing that with other games from Activision like Destiny kind of, but not too much. You know, Overwatch, not too much. It's just Call of Duty, specifically COD, that they're trying to milk out every dollar they have, and they see it's successful. And I mean, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying don't buy supply drops and all that stuff, and you guys do whatever you want, but I'm just saying how they're functioning. It's really predictable. You can easily tell when these guys are lying. And, I mean, come on, we all know weapons are gonna come into supply drops in the future. That's a given. Multiple times they said it's not, but they lied. I mean, what's making World War II any different? If anything, they can actually use this, you know, steal your money kind of strategy even more in World War II, because have you guys seen the sales in World War II? A lot of people, game companies like IGN and all that stuff, they're saying Call of Duty World War II had the most COD sales in years. So that means there are millions of people, a lot more than what used to be playing Call of Duty, on World War II, which gives Activision a huge opportunity to take advantage of this and just abuse the supply drop line. On top of that, something I'm a little speculative about, the game only launched with 9 maps, right? And for some reason the fans accepted that, even though when Modern Warfare Remastered launched with 10, everybody was going crazy, but for whatever reason, World War II launched with 9 maps. We all know 9 maps is way too little for any COD game to launch, and then come January, they're already teasing the first map pack on January. Now, I can be wrong, but I believe Call of Duty World War II, I believe I said this in another video, I believe Call of Duty World War II is actually going to have 5 DLC map packs, and one of those was actually supposed to be original maps, so it was supposed to be in the game at launch. Again, as I said, there are millions and millions of people playing this Call of Duty, the most players in COD history, so it's a huge opportunity for them to take advantage and have some cheap cash grabs here and there. But as I said, for me, I'm just sticking to Infinite Warfare, Modern Warfare Remastered. I'm having fun with it, I like it, and I don't really have to worry about COD points or DLC for these games, at least not anytime soon. But World War II, I mean, just be careful, because I know some of you guys are going to get, you know, next year's Call of Duty, some of you guys are probably going to get World War II for Christmas, but just be wary on how Call of Duty functions. You know, keep in mind that they try to take every dollar you have as fast as they can, and you have to just be very speculative. You have to see what they're doing, what they're up to, what's to come, what's rumored around the Call of Duty lines, and you just have to be very, very cautious on what you want to do with COD. If you actually don't need it, then don't buy it, don't gamble for it, don't even try it, just work with what you have. Because we all know by now, Call of Duty cannot be trusted at all. So, well, I guess that's basically about it. A little disappointed on how they're working with Call of Duty World War II, but I mean, it's expected on how Activision functions with the COD franchise. So if you like this video, punch that like button. With a mighty force, you can follow me up on Twitter at DavantosMan. And as always, I'll see all of you in the next video. Have a nice day!